Pittsburgh Steelers are 4-point favorites for Saturday's preseason game against the Buffalo Bills. Got a special guest here on the Bleav in Steelers show today. But first, let's pay some bills. Today's episode of Bleav in Steelers is brought to you by BetOnline.ag. If you want to bet on the Steelers or the Bills in the preseason, football is here, and BetOnline.ag is the place to place all of your bets this football season. And they've got player props, spreads, over-unders. Here's what you do. Go to betonline.ag. You can see that on your screen right now. We've got a promo code Bleav. That's BLEAV to get started and get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. Welcome into the Bleav in Steelers show. My name is Mark Bergin, and we've got a guest on, and he covers the Buffalo Bills for WUFO Sports. We welcome in Muki Hawkins. Muki, the last time I saw you, we were in Indianapolis covering the NFL Combine. It is good to see you again.
Always good to see you, my guy. Once again, football season is back, so I'm real excited about that. See, I'm representing, my Pitt Panther Nation. Hell to Pitt.
Yeah, we'd love to hear that here in the Bleav in Steelers show, keeping it in the 412. I want to start right from the jump because there might be a little bit of bad blood between these two teams because your Bills knocked off my Steelers in the playoffs. But what I want to know is this going into the season, because you lose Stefon Diggs, you trade him away, Mitch Morse is gone, your two starting safeties are gone. Is the Bills' Super Bowl window still open, Muki?
Well, the Super Bowl window is always open as long as you got number 17, under center. And then the phenomenal job that Brandon Beane does always allows that window to be open. I think they did a good job with free agency. I think they've done a good job in the draft on getting some guys that's going to be able to make an impact right away to, I guess, I don't want to say substitute from, what the Bills have lost, but, you had to get young around your franchise quarterback. So there's that carryover. I mean, Kansas City Chiefs, they did it a few years back, and look how it panned out for them. They won a Super Bowl with those guys that they drafted with L'Jarius Sneed and all of those guys. They made them play early right away, and it paid out great dividends for them. So you hate to lose those type of guys because, they were really the makeup of this Buffalo Bills run, right? So, that run is, that part of it is over, and now it's a new run that's beginning.
Yeah, you're in my brain, and that's a dangerous place to be. But I think the analogy with the Chiefs is a fair one because they got rid of Tyreek Hill. You get rid of Stefon Diggs. You bring in Keon Coleman. Now, Keon Coleman, I'm very excited about because you look at the tape and you see the combat catches, the one-on-ones, the athleticism, the circus catches. But he got a lot of flack at the Combine for running a slower 40. But Muki, what I saw was that when he ran the gauntlet drill, running the width of the field, staying on as straight a line as you can, actually trying to catch passes with the ball in your hands, he had among the fastest time of any player in the Combine. That's what I look at more so than a 4.6 40 when how often are you going to really be running a straight line in the NFL?
Oh, absolutely. That's definitely was the tell of the tape. I mean, you've seen 40 speed, then you saw actual game speed. And, during that gauntlet, I think Keon clocked over 20 miles per hour, which was the fastest, time in the gauntlet. So game speed, straight line speed. Some people, they train for the 40 to have their best time. And Keon Coleman just probably lined up and ran. Was it his best time? I don't think it was. But you see that speed in the gauntlet. I mean, he has no problem separating from DBs at practice. So, I don't care about the 4.6 40. All I care about is the measurables and the athleticism. Josh has now, this is probably the most athletic room of wide receivers he's ever had in his career. And obviously the tallest wide receiver room that Josh Allen has ever had. He's never had a receiver, that was over, 6'2". Gabe Davis, 6'2". So when you look at his 1 and 2 receivers, they're over 6'3". So, you got to put some athletic pieces around your athletic quarterback. Not to say that Gabe Davis or Stefon Diggs wasn't athletic, but, again, when you got guys that's 6'3", 6'4", wide catch radius, it's easy for Josh to see those guys down the field rather than someone's 5'9", 5'10", things of that nature. So I think you got to put more athletic pieces around your athletic quarterback, and that's what the Bills did.
It's a young man's sport. Have you gotten to see any of Keon Coleman's gift of gab in the flesh in your coverage of the Bills?
Of course, I'm the one that asked him about the yellow jacket. I'm the guy that asked him about the yellow jacket. So of course.
He needs his own reality show. I hope that they can mic him up throughout the course of the season because he's just got some gems, man. The Tiger wish he would as well is just genius.
Yeah, so me, I had to, he was wearing a yellow coat, and I was like, "Oh, you got you a coat from here for here," and that's how it all sparked. Then I knew, somewhere he was going to, so I threw Tom Izzo in there. The next you know, it's all Macy's viral history, right? Yellow jackets everywhere in the middle of the summer here in Buffalo.
Hey, I hope they're giving you a cut of the commission, Mook. Let's see. Let's go to Von Miller and his health. He played in 12 games last year, and I was looking at where he only had 3 tackles and a sack. I know he was not healthy, saying he shouldn't have played a year ago. 35 years old, now looks to be healthy. Kind of what are your expectations going into this year now that he seems to be a lot healthier than he was a year ago after sustaining an injury, he said, Thanksgiving of 2022, to where that really hampered him a year ago. What have you seen so far at training camp from the star edge rusher?
I told Von during OTAs, I was just watching. I'm like, well, damn. I was Von Miller getting around that edge. Then the very next play, it's like, damn, that was 40 again. So it just dawned on me, when Von got back, and he's right, he shouldn't have been rushed back. Von Miller should have came back probably week 12 of last year instead of playing 12 games last year. I mean, yeah, he came off the knee injury early in his career and had a career high in sacks and stuff like that. But at age 34, that kicks in, right? So he should have had more ample time like everybody else coming off an AC injury, which is a year injury. All right. So he got hurt on Thanksgiving. He came back like week 4. He shouldn't have came back until like week 12. That way the knee probably would have been more stable. Von would have been more confident in, going out there and just being himself, right? Last year, and I told Von this during OTAs, I said last year you were thinking about being twitchy. This year, you're just back to being twitchy. He's not thinking about it. He's just his natural stuff. So you see the natural, just himself, just getting back there, bending the shoulder, having the confidence, not even thinking about the knee at this point. So whatever Von gives us is going to be a bonus. I still feel the Bills was top 5 in sacks last year at 55 as a team, with Von Miller not having nothing. Right? So anything Von Miller gives us this year was definitely be a bonus. But I think that he may have his best year as a Bill. He had 8 sacks in 22 before he got hurt. I think he'll be more of a situational pass rusher than an every down edge guy. You got Ebenezer, who's coming off a contract extension. So I think that's going to definitely warrant more snaps. If not starting him off the edge, he's doing that now. And then Greg Rousseau, we just picked up his 5th-year option. So you got 2 bookends there. And then you add Von Miller to that mix as a situational pass rusher to go along with Javon Solomon and the rest of those guys. But I think his health is he's in tip-top shape. And right now he's just getting ready to roll. You know what I mean? Just for the most part. I think Von is back. I think, he's going to provide what he's been waiting to provide us, since 22. So as long as these guys can stay healthy, the Bills is always a tough out, so that's the key word, just staying healthy.
Mook, I had to do a double take. I thought my computer was broken yesterday when I was looking up his statistical output from a year ago. It's like, this is the star edge rusher, Von Miller, right? Like, there's not another player who's named Von Miller. I had to do a double take.
Right. You'll be amazed when you look at those stats. Like, he played in all those games, and this is what he gave us. I was happy to know that he gave us $9 million back, too. So that was player of him. He really didn't have to do that. Normally, guys won't budge, and then, they get cut and they're off to another team. But, Von's a team player. He understands what he's trying to do here with this franchise. And, hey, he has some history that he's trying to do as well. He's trying to be the third player to lead, 3 teams to a Super Bowl. So this is it for him. He's not going to go anywhere else and try to do that. It's Super Bowl or bust right here in Buffalo for Von Miller. So I think that, he's definitely going to, play with a chip on his shoulder, and, give that juice, bring that juice like he was in 22 to a much more seasonal, edge rush room with Russo and Epineza, going into their 4th and 5th year.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to get that pass rush consistently when you're sending, say, 4 guys, because on the back end, you're going to have some new safeties too. Now that Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, starters for several seasons, are now not members of the Buffalo Bills as we work to get Muki Hawkins back here. But Muki, what I was asking you about is it's going to be really important for that pass rush up front to make things easier on the back end. The Bills are going to have some new safeties this year.
Yes. Yeah. When you look at it though, man, it's it's kind of a luxury when you have 2 all-pro safeties back there for quite a while, right? And now they're gone. So what do you replace that with? That was the wisdom and knowledge of the defense, right? Poyer and Hyde. So now that wisdom and knowledge has been pushed up front to Ed Oliver, to Greg Rousseau, to Von Miller, to AJ Epineza, to Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard. Is that front 7 now is going to carry that wisdom and that knowledge, which is going to help the new back end. I don't want to say inexperienced because you got Taylor Rapp there who's still seasoned. You got Mike Edwards, who's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. And, we still have Rasul Douglas, Kyer Elam, and Christian Benford, a good rotation at that corner spot. And you can throw Cam Lewis in there as well. So, the wisdom and the knowledge is going to come, like you said. It's going to, that front is going to be able to help the back end. If we can get pressure to the quarterback, then obviously that's going to help those safeties out. We do have, Cole Bishop, the Bills drafted in the 2nd round from out of Utah too. So 6'2", 210. I think he's kind of like a Poyer Hyde in combined because he can, he'll play in the box and come down, he'll smack you in the mouth like Jordan Poyer, but he definitely has the ball skills of a Micah Hyde. So, that's a project that's developing. And again, I don't think it's going to be too much of a drop off other than how Poyer and Hyde were able to bait quarterbacks into, certain types of coverages. That's where you're going to miss that at. But hopefully, those guys can make up for it, just getting after the quarterback and letting, the safeties really, figure things out that way.
Is there any chance the Bills bring Hyde back? He's still a free agent. I know there's been some injuries in the defensive backfield.
I think so. I think it's a strong possibility. Micah Hyde right now, he's probably still asleep. So he's enjoying that part. When you're 32, 33 years old, the hell with camp, the hell with OTAs, the hell with preseason, you don't want to do that type of stuff anymore, getting up in the morning. Mike is, he's out in California right now, so I'm quite sure he's still asleep. But I do believe that at some point Mike is going to get that itch, at the right time. And if the Bills are, looking like they're going to make a run in the playoffs come week 10 or something like that, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a Micah Hyde back in a Bills uniform.
All right. Petty Mark's going to come out on the pod. Terrific insight there, Muki. Petty Mark's coming out on the pod. I got to ask you about a couple former Steelers. Chase Claypool put on IR. Did this surprise you at all? Because initially the toe injury was day-to-day.
Yeah, it was day-to-day. Kind of surprised me, but I think it's more of a move to keep Chase Claypool around. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we don't want to release this guy because he showed us, he's definitely showed us some traits that we can unlock. Unfortunate of the toe injury. So let's just put him on ice, which is IR. That means we still hold his rights. He's still at practice. He's still getting healthy. And, I don't think Claypool gets cut. I think he stays on IR until he's completely healthy. And then by that time, they could, move him off of IR, put him on a roster, and then we know how the business goes. Somebody that's low man on the totem pole, he gets released or he gets put on IR. I think it's more of a strategic move, rather than, a Claypool move.
Yeah, the talent's there. I mean, his rookie year with the Steelers, he tied his Steelers franchise rookie record with 11 touchdowns. I watched a game where he scored 4 in a single game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's just putting on the Superman cape of the black and gold, which I think that's the case for a lot of skill position players. Mm-hmm. But the talent is there with Chase Claypool. It's, can he put it all together between the ears? And that's why he's kind of bounced around from team to team to team. We'll see if he puts that together. I Bleav that they've got the deadline for Claypool, and if this is wrong, August the 27th of, do you reach that injury settlement or not for what his future is in Buffalo?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll just wait and see how things, shake out. Because, again, keep in mind, the 27th, 28th, right, that's when basically they got to figure out who's going to be on the 90-man roster anyway around that time, right? I mean, on the 53-man roster anyway. So the Bills that have a true evaluation on where they need to go with that. Claypool, on the other hand, again, you come from Notre Dame, a successful, traditional winning program. You get drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, the winningest program in NFL, right? So you send a guy to hell, to Chicago.
Where receivers go to die, Muki Hawkins.
Yeah, you send him to Chicago. So okay, then his best friend, one of his best friends, and Dwayne Haskins passes away. So he was just in a dark spot, I think, more or less. And yeah, he wasn't focused, and he had that narrative on him like he was just greater than he was because he wouldn't play special teams in Chicago or wherever the case may be. But how do you take a guy from a winning program and take him to the bottomless pit and think that everything is going to be okay? He's not even the top guy over there. So the quarterback situation wasn't as good. Claypool was having a tremendous OTAs. I mean, he started out with the threes and then worked his way up getting reps with Josh Allen. So all of that is a good sign. Unfortunate of the toe injury, I do Bleav that, he'll still be on this roster around, that 27, 28th period. I either as PUP or whatever the case may be, but I think he'll still remain on this roster to some capacity.
Yeah, the Bears had to see what they had in Justin Fields when they traded for Claypool. It didn't work out in Chicago. He goes to Miami, and it's like, look, at best, he's going to be the third option there. I mean, that's not even to take into account the studs they have in the backfield, but Waddle and Cheetah on the outside. At best, you're going to be the 3. So we'll see what happens with Claypool. I got to ask you about Mitch Trubisky too, because a few years ago when he first came to the Bills, he lit up the Bears in preseason. But now, I mean, a week ago, the Bills played the Bears. Didn't look great, but he's going up against the Steelers. If Trubisky lights up the Steelers, and I know that's going to be the second and third team units, this is something I'm watching come Saturday. I've got my popcorn. I've got my food spread ready because this is something I really want to watch. And again, you can call me being petty, but how does Mitch Trubisky perform against the Steelers? These are the preseason storylines I look forward to because the outcomes are really irrelevant come to the regular season.
Well, hey, we'll see, what's on Mitch's mind, on Saturday. How does he feel about his time in Pittsburgh, and how would that motivate him to go out and have, a top performance? I mean, Trubisky was, a top pick coming out, North Carolina there. I just think that the Bears wasn't patient enough to unlock the talent. I didn't think that the scheme really was designed for Trubisky's skill set. Here in Buffalo, it fits because, he's able to accentuate his talent, which being a little bit more mobile, more accurate outside of the pocket. It fits, obviously we have Josh Allen, right? He gets out of the pocket, things of that nature. So it fits. The caveat is, hey, I got to go up against my former guys, right? And they know Mitch. Mitch knows them. And, it's kind of like a familiar foe. I call it the Wilman Mary Bowl, right? Because you got Tomlin, you got McDermott, both Wilman Mary teammates. And, it's always a competitive matchup every time those guys lock horns. all the way from last year's preseason game when the Steelers just destroyed the Bills, quick and often last year. And then that carried over into the regular season. And obviously, meeting up again in the playoffs. So we're going to check a lot of temperatures this week to see, is any love lost from that playoff game for sure.
Yeah, and it's certainly a different quarterback room when it comes to the Steelers standpoint. I got to ask you this, though, from the Bills standpoint, Mook, as we start to wrap up here on the Bleav in Steelers show, what are you looking for? What are you watching come Saturday? I know a lot of the Bills players didn't play against Chicago, but if you have one thing that you really, really want to hone in and pay attention to, what would that be come Saturday?
Bills run game. They could not run the ball at all, versus Chicago. I'm not sure if it was because of defensive coordinator Eric Washington, who was the former D-line coach, assistant defensive coordinator last year here in Buffalo. But he shut the Bills' run game down. I mean, Ray Davis and James Cook combined had 9 carries, -2 or -1 combined. So the Bills need to figure out how are they going to establish that run. Can't be one-dimensional. The Bills suffered that last year with Dorsey, which led to his firing. And they got to make sure that they have a sound running attack to help out Josh Allen and what he does. Because we know Josh can throw the ball all over the yard, but he needs a running game to help him out. It makes things a whole hell of a lot easier if the Bills can establish some sort of run game, some balance. If the Bills can keep teams off balance, with balance, then they're definitely going to be a tough out, and we'll see more points scored out of this explosive offense. So I want to see if they can establish the run game against Pittsburgh, and then you do want to see Josh and Keon Coleman hook up if I could. If it could happen, during the course. Not sure if Josh is going to play, or if he does, how long. But you definitely want to see at least a Allen and Coleman connection on top of establish some sort of run game against Pittsburgh.
Hey, you mentioned the importance of that run game, and I'm sure that's something you know all too well. 4 straight division titles, what that can do in November, December, January to finally put the Bills over the top to where, hey, we're not just in the playoffs, but we're a true AFC contender. We've won an AFC championship, and that's what they're vying for. And as long as you got 17 back there, you look at the quarterback talent in the AFC, he's as good as any as there is in this entire league. And that's something where I'll tell you this, come Sunday, come Monday in Pittsburgh, people are going to be losing their minds over what's expected to be Russell Wilson's first preseason action and then an extended clip of Justin Fields as well, to where we're already overanalyzing 3 drives of the preseason. And the reason I say it's meaningless is a year ago, everyone in Pittsburgh was so fired up with Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada, 5 drives, 5 touchdowns, finished with 6 touchdown passes for the entire season. But my point is when it comes to the quarterback talent in the AFC, be thankful, Mookie, that you got one, because it's not going to get any easier. And it's so in the AFC in particular, it's like this guy's got a quarterback. This team's got a quarterback. This team's got a stud quarterback. Be happy you've got one in Josh Allen.
Yeah, I'm glad that, Brandon Beane was able to pull that trigger, man, and go grab the franchise quarterback, something that we haven't had since Jim Kelly. So can't be mad at that pick at all.
Muki Hawkins, I know you do terrific work. If there's anything that you need to plug in your coverage of the Bills, the floor is yours now, my friend.
Hey, you can always catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Muki Hawkins. I was spelled MukiHawkins. At WUFO Sports on Twitter. And, you can check me at Power 96.5 FM radio all day and every day.
Mookie, appreciate the time. And listen, if I get to meet you again in Indianapolis for next year's Combine, we'll have to get a meal at St. Elmo's.
Oh, without a doubt, man. You got to do Elmo's when you're in Indy, baby.
Muki Hawkins, always good to see you. I want to thank you. I want to thank the listeners of the Bleav in Steelers show. Today's presenting sponsor, BetOnline.ag, Apple and Spotify, 5 stars and 5 stars only. On YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. We've got another guest on the Bleav in Steelers show for Friday's episode, and then I'll have live post-game reaction Saturday night, Steelers-Bills. Cannot wait. Again, thank you to Muki Hawkins. My name is Mark Bergin. Thanks so much for watching Bleav in Steelers. I'll see you next time.